Good evening and welcome to 365 Days of Amazing Stories with Theo Mayer. Here we are on day 84, and I'm continuing the story of the lady or the tiger. The young charge of the king, one of the king's own men, had fallen in love with the king's daughter. He was of a much lower station, but the two of them loved each other dearly. And all was well for many months until the king found out. And then the king sentenced that young man as a criminal to appear in the arena, to choose between the two doors. Behind one, a tiger would be there, the most ravenous tiger that could be found. That tiger was to be placed behind one door. And the other door? A maiden of exceeding beauty. She was picked from the maidens that were in the royal court, tended to the royal ladies, in fact, tended to the princess herself. Now, this particular young woman who was chosen was indeed extremely beautiful, polite, well-mannered, intelligent. She could play music. She would be a beautiful wife for anyone who could have her, who could actually win her love. The princess hated her. She had noticed on more than one occasion this young, beautiful maiden casting loving glances at her lover. She had perceived, or at least presumed, she had seen those glances returned. She'd even wondered if her lover had had some stirrings of love for that woman. And because of this, just because of the mere thought that this was a possibility, she hated this woman. This was the woman that was chosen to stand behind the other door. Ravenous tiger behind one, beautiful maiden, hated by the princess, behind the other. Now the day when this young man would step into the arena came. Everyone knew of this, scandalous situation. All knew that, in fact, he was indeed guilty of loving the princess. And everyone had turned out to see what would happen. The arena was filled to the maximum capacity. There were no seats left. People were standing along every wall, in the stairways. And in fact, those who could not fit in were standing outside, waiting for the news of what happened to be relayed from person to person to those outside. The king and the court were all sitting in their chamber. And of course, to one side of the king sat the princess. She would not miss this for anything, for the outcome was near and dear to her. Now, she had, through the wiles of a woman and gold, found out the secret to the doors. She knew behind which door stood the tiger and which the beautiful maiden. When the young man came out from beneath the king and his court, came out from that door into the arena and walked to the middle, he stopped and turned toward the king and did what was ceremonial, to bow before the king. But his eyes were not set on the king. His eyes were set on the princess, for he knew that she would know. We'll stop the story there, and we'll find out if she can communicate what she knows to the prince. Okay. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a good rest of your day or evening.